The 1950s to the 1960s was a major era for the Australian furniture design industry, shaping the way modern designers in the 20th century design furniture in today's society. The 1950s are known to many as the start of the retro furniture decade. This decade's furniture designs show the evolving influence to today's modern furniture, such as the change in style where items were becoming more slender. The 1960s introduced a new trend to the furniture industry, a whimsical style to modern furniture such as bright, unusual, exciting new pattern furniture. This video will explore how Grant and Mary Featherstone furniture designs impacted the way modern designers go about designing furniture in today's society. This topic is important as it plays a major role in the modernisation movement in the mid-20th century, and how the Featherstone legacy has benefited contemporary designers like Johnny Chamaki. This video will highlight Featherstone's work and how it has influenced modern furniture designers. It is evident that Grant Featherstone was one of the most influential and well-known modernist furniture designers post-war. He was born on the 17th of October 1922 in Geelong, Victoria. Featherstone started designing and creating things from a young age. One of his first designs was a folding desk his father assisted him to make. Being born and bred in Geelong provided advantages and opportunities in the design industry for Grant, as the town of Geelong, which was really pushing towards modernisation and modern buildings and architecture at the time. Grant never furthered his education with university studies post-high school grad. Instead, he went straight into a job with Melbourne glass manufacturer Oliver Davies & Co. He worked there for about 12 months. He wanted to keep exploring his options, so he took on an industrial designer's role at Newton & Gray's, where he designed lighting and gas panels. Grant's industrial designer's role allowed him to broaden his knowledge about design materials such as the elasticity and flexibility of the materials, which he later incorporated into his later designs. In 1941, Grant left his previous job role to enlist in the war as a draftsman, where he was involved in the post-war reconstruction, which included housing and social reconstruction. Grant's design philosophy, in basic words, is innovative. He was not afraid to use cutting-edge construction methods and unfamiliar materials. Another one of Grant's most well-known and memorable quotes was, "The essential fundamental of design is human use." After the war, Grant really established his name in the design industry with one of his trademark designs, the contour chair, he was well known for. Mary Featherstone was one of the most iconic Australian female furniture designers of her time. Mary was born on May 2nd, 1953 in England. Mary didn't spend much time growing up in England. Her family moved to Australia in 1953 when she was 10. Mary graduated from RMIT University with an interior design qualification. She entered a love and business partnership in 1965 with Grant Featherstone, where she has first established a name for herself in the design industry. Mary and Grant had a very successful design partnership and complemented each other's strengths very well in the 30 years they worked together. The pair designed a wide range of furniture items. A very famous item was the Expo 67 chair. Mary's key design philosophy was that design should be for all. Sadly, in 1995, Grant passed away and Mary was left on her own. Mary decided she would keep designing solo. Mary decided to focus on socially responsible designs, specialising in designing children's play and learning environments in schools and education centres to aid children's learning. Grant and Mary Featherstone were modern designers that focused on creating new furniture products that promoted modernism. One of Grant's well-known symbolic designs was the contour chair, with the first edition completed in the early 1950s. Grant's main aim when designing is the function of the product rather than glamour, which works in well with the modernism movement. Grant Featherstone started off designing basic chairs with minimal materials that were cost-effective and are able to be mass-produced. The benefit of using iron was that it was viewed as a modern material for design, as it contained properties that make it an efficient material for design and allows for mass production. Grant continued to design other models of his contour chair to keep up with the modernisation trend of design. The contour chair became a touchstone of Australian growing cultural sophistication. The Expo 67 chair is a very famous creation of Grant and Mary Featherstone's, which was very innovative, never before seen design. This design was the first design Grant and Mary co-designed together. The Expo 67 chair was a major feature at the Australian Pavilion Expo in 1967, which attracted many people to the expo. The idea to create the Expo 67 chair was inspired by famous designer Robin Boyd to create a stereo sound chair. The Expo 67 chair was crafted so that the visitors would sit down, which would activate the sound system and play recorded interviews of Australian life and history to educate them. This Expo 67 chair is a good example of modernisation, as the Expo chair was enthusiastically and technologically innovative. Grant Featherstone's relaxation chair was one of the first designs crafted and available after the war. The function of the chair was to be aesthetically pleasing and timeless without sacrificing comfort. In the post-war times, materials were very hard to get as there was a major shortage of materials. Grant used parachute webbing, which was able to be sourced so he could mass produce his chair range. The relaxation chair represents modernisation, as the chair webbing is woven in an unusual way which pushes modernity. The chair was a very successful launch for Grant, as it appeared it was promoted in a major news source by famous Australian architect Robin Boyd. Johnny Chamaki is a well-established Australian contemporary designer. He was born in Sydney in 1969 and spent the majority of his time there. Johnny was very artistic from a young age, crafting his own toys and constructing a range of different items. At a young age, Johnny began selling a range of his artwork to family members and friends. He continued to keep broadening his design knowledge and completed an architecture degree at the University of Technology in Sydney. Johnny's design philosophy is that everything we create should respond to its surroundings and be functional. An example of Chamaki's benefiting from Featherstone's legacy is the 2002 Outlaw chair, which has a similar features to some of Featherstone's designs, using similar shapes and materials such as bent plywood and steel frames. Another similar trait Chamaki and Featherstone share is their designs are both innovative and pushing modernity. An example of one of Chamaki's innovative designs is the Outlaw chair, which was inspired by his previous Ned Kelly helmet design in earlier years and later turned into a chair. To conclude this essay, it has covered the Featherstone design work in the mid-20th century and how modernisation movement has influenced their designs, and how the Featherstone legacy has benefited Johnny Chamaki's design work. It is evident that Grant and Mary Featherstone designs are clearly pushing towards modernisation, modern and modernity, like the Expo 67 chair, which was an innovative design that played recorded interviews. Throughout the essay, it is clear that Johnny Chamaki has benefited from Featherstone's work using similar materials and designing innovative furniture items to today.